Better Call Saul shows that a prequel can be as good as, or even better than, the original. Hi there, thanks for joining us for Plain English. This is lesson number 277, which means you can find the full lesson at plainenglish.com/277. JR is the producer of Plain English, and I'm Jeff, and today is all about one of my favorite shows on TV right now, Better Call Saul. We've been stuck inside, many of us, discovering new TV shows, new things to stream. So I thought today we'd talk about one of my favorites. It's a prequel to the Netflix show Breaking Bad. So if you liked that one, I think you'll also like Better Call Saul. We've done some movie reviews before, so here's my rule. I won't give away any major spoilers, but I am going to talk in general terms about the characters and what happens. I had to include some details that aren't revealed until the second or third seasons, but I don't think this lesson would ruin too many surprises. But I thought I'd give you that disclaimer before we start. We have an expression, like always. Today, it's to live in someone's shadow. You might be wondering if there's a video lesson as well. The answer is yes. At plainenglish.com/277, we have the video that describes how to clarify the meaning of what you're saying. And that's a good one at plainenglish.com/277. It's almost a truism in Hollywood that a movie's sequel can never be better than the original. Sure, it can be more successful at the box office, but lightning doesn't strike twice, as they say. The television series Better Call Saul is an exception to that rule. It's a spin-off of the hit Netflix series Breaking Bad, and it tells the story of Saul Goodman, a slick-talking attorney to the criminal underworld of Albuquerque, New Mexico. It turns out he wasn't always the shady lawyer that he portrays in Breaking Bad. For the uninitiated, Breaking Bad was about Walter White, a chemistry teacher in the American state of New Mexico. Diagnosed with cancer and without a valuable estate to leave his family, he begins manufacturing drugs in a homemade laboratory. His problems escalate, and he eventually joins forces with the criminal world's favorite lawyer, Saul Goodman. He, Saul Goodman, is the stereotype of a sleazy, unethical lawyer. He was one of the most popular characters of Breaking Bad. The series Better Call Saul is a prequel, the opposite of a sequel. It tells the story of Saul Goodman before he became the unethical lawyer in Breaking Bad. The spin-off was created by Vince Gilligan, who also created Breaking Bad. Some cast members are the same. Bob Odenkirk plays Saul in both series. Jonathan Banks plays Mike Ehrmantraut, and Giancarlo Esposito plays the drug kingpin Gus Fring. Breaking Bad was good because it was full of action. You always wanted to know what was going to happen next. But Better Call Saul is different. It's not so much about the action as about the character. The whole series is a character study of the main character. At the beginning, he's known by his real name, Jimmy McGill. He was a small-time crook and con man who always lived in the shadow of his older brother Chuck, a successful lawyer at a prominent New Mexico law firm. Jimmy eventually gets a job in the mailroom of his brother's law office and earns a law degree from the University of American Samoa, an online law school. He studies hard and passes the bar exam, meaning he is officially licensed to practice law. But he doesn't ever quite fit in. He isn't ever fully satisfied with his new life as a lawyer. He seems most himself when he's playing some kind of trick, when he sees the line between right and wrong and finds himself straddling it or falling just on the other side of an ethical line. He later changes his name to Saul Goodman, a mnemonic for "It's all good, man, Saul Goodman," and starts building a less than savory clientele. Jimmy gets involved romantically and professionally with a partner, Kim Wexler. I love Kim Wexler. She's a sharp lawyer, a hard worker, a striver. But she falls for Jimmy and alternates between feeling excitement for and revulsion at his extra-legal activities. She clearly wants to use the law for good, but is not under any illusions that the profession is pure and fully ethical. She takes jobs and clients that pay well, but leave her unsatisfied. My other favorite character is Mike. If you saw Breaking Bad, you probably remember Mike. He's one of Gus's enforcers. He's an older guy, an ex-cop. He's patient. He speaks slowly. He's methodical, and he acts with authority. You usually see him in a beat-up old car. He carries a gun, but doesn't use it often. There have been 5 seasons of Better Call Saul, and a 6th and final season has been ordered. It is scheduled to air next year in 2021. The first 3, maybe 4, are on Netflix. I don't like to give big spoilers, but I'll tell you this. We have not, to date, seen Walter White. Fans of Better Call Saul are salivating in anticipation of a crossover in the final season, where we see some events from Breaking Bad take place, but from a different point of view in Better Call Saul. Producers have been teasing fans with that, but we still don't know if it will happen. Better Call Saul is a prequel that is equal to the original. Critics love it. It has won a lot of awards and nominations and has always been highly rated on the cable television network that airs original episodes. We had a nice discussion in the Plain English Plus forums about our favorite TV shows during the quarantine, and there were a lot that came up. So here are some of them from the listeners, from the members of Plain English Plus. Here's what they've been watching: Ozarks, Monarcha, Never Have I Ever, The Last Dance, the one about Michael Jordan, Money Heist, 90 Day Fiancé, oh brother, Anne with an E, that one was popular, Unorthodox, Big Mouth, Kingdom, How to Get Away with Murder, My Hero Academia, The Sinner. There were more. Those are just a few. It was a huge variety that you guys are watching. Anyway, every week in the forums, JR posts a question of the week. It's always a different topic, and it's a great way to share ideas with others, get to know your fellow members, and practice writing about a new topic. That's a benefit included in Plain English Plus. And if you are not yet a member, I'd love for you to come join us at plainenglish.com/plus, plainenglish.com/plus. Jimmy McGill, later known as Saul Goodman in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, Jimmy McGill always lived in the shadow of his older brother Chuck. What does it mean to live in the shadow of someone else? To live in someone else's shadow. It means the other person always got more attention. The other person was always more successful, always attracted more attention. It's not a good feeling to always be in the shadow of another person. It's not common. Sure, in any pair of people, there will be differences. One might be better artistically. The other might do better in school. One may be more popular, more outgoing. The other might be more successful in other ways. One might be more athletic. The other might prefer video games. Those are just differences in personality, abilities, and preferences. If you live in the shadow of another person, it could be a brother or sister, a colleague, a business partner, a husband or wife. If you live in the shadow, you feel hidden. You feel as if nobody notices you, like you can never be good enough. John F. Kennedy, JFK, was an American president. One of his brothers was a senator, and another was Attorney General, the highest law enforcement officer of the United States. Their father was a powerful senator. JFK's sons, nephews, and nieces were popular in politics too. Few people know who Jean Kennedy Smith is. She died a few weeks ago in New York. She was the sister to John F. Kennedy. I had no idea she existed. She was an American ambassador to Ireland, certainly not a prominent political figure, but neither was she totally unknown. But she lived in the shadow of her brothers. Her brothers and all the other Kennedy men in the generations before and after were all prominent politically. She was not prominent to anywhere near that extent. She lived in the shadow of the powerful men in her family. Anytime you have one really famous person in a family, the others tend to feel like they're living in the shadow of their family member. You have probably heard of the tennis star Novak Djokovic. Famous tennis star from Serbia. Very talented. His mother recently gave an interview saying that her other two sons, Novak's younger brothers, were also talented in tennis, but she and her husband only had the energy and ability to support Novak's career. She's describing a situation where two of her sons had to live in the shadow of the other. It's not just that one was famous, but that the famous one's fame, stature, blocked their own careers. If you think biologically, think of a big tree that soaks up all the sun. If you plant a seed in the dirt right next to the big tree in a place where there is no sun, then that seed is going to have a hard time growing up, reaching its full potential. So if you feel like you're in the shadow of someone else, you feel like you can't get the energy or attention you need to be yourself and to do your best. And that's what it was like for the young lawyer Jimmy McGill. His much older brother was a genius, not just a successful lawyer, but a prominent one and a genius. Chuck got all the attention as a kid, and Jimmy felt neglected. Whether that was true or not, we don't know, but it's certainly how Jimmy felt. Jimmy felt like he was in the shadow of his older brother. Sometimes you might say a person is trying to escape the shadow of another person. We talked about how Prince Harry wanted to step down from his royal duties in the UK. Is it possible that he was trying to escape the shadow of his older brother, Prince William? William is in line to become King of England. Harry is much farther back in line. Prince William has always been seen as the more traditional of the two brothers, the more fit to be king. People love his wife as well. Is it possible that Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle just wanted to escape the shadow of Prince William and his wife, Kate Middleton? Possible. You can sometimes use it in the context of a place or an object. Take the city of Fort Worth, Texas, for example. It is a city of almost 1 million people the fifth largest in Texas. But in many ways, Fort Worth exists in the shadow of its neighbor, Dallas. If anyone asks, where is Fort Worth? The answer is always, it's right next to Dallas. Dallas is about 50% bigger, but is far, far better known and gets much more attention. Dallas Airport, Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas region. Fort Worth exists in Dallas's shadow. JR's song of the week is Lust for Love by Lana Del Rey. It is the part of the soundtrack of Dark on Netflix. Dark was the first ever original Netflix series in German. It borrows a few famous lines. In the song, she sings, "'Cause we're the masters of our own fate, we're the captains of our own souls." I recognized those words. They are borrowed from a famous poem called Invictus. So the song of the week, once again, is Lust for Love by Lana Del Rey. And that brings us to the end of today's audio lesson. Remember, all the fun continues on plainenglish.com/277, where you can watch the video lesson and do the interactive exercises and much more. If you are a Plain English Plus member, tell me in the forums if you've seen Better Call Saul, and if so, what you think about it. If you're not yet a member of Plain English Plus, then you know what to do. Just visit plainenglish.com/plus, Plus, and see what all the fuss is about. That's all for today. We'll be right back here on Monday for another Plain English lesson. See you then.